name is Monica Zudi, your relationship intelligence coach. Woo. Thank you so much for all your messages. Thank you. They are actually shaping a few things in the way we relate with you, and it's exciting. Today we're going to be talking about finding your calling. Largely, we've had several questions in that area, coming mostly from the young folks who are seemingly wondering if all the buzz on social media and everything else is real, in the sense that there is no depth anymore, and it's as if bad has been so magnified that it's taking the place of good. People are seeking value for their lives and direction. And the overload, yes, psychological overload coming from social media is almost drowning the voice of good. So a lot of people are thinking and asking, as a young person, what exactly do we have to do to find our calling? Because everybody is doing just anything to make a living. Now, talking about your calling, it simply means what you were born to do. We say calling, not necessarily because you have to answer the call to be a pastor or a minister, but what God has designed for you to do in life. That's what finding your calling is all about. So I'll just put it simply for you. Many times you can identify the passion and the God-given gift that you have between two extremes of pain and joy. What are the things that gives you joy or brings you pain on a larger scale? Because your calling first has to do with people most of the time. Nobody is called to seek their own happiness or joy. You're actually called to make the world a better place, to contribute your quota to improve the lives of people. It's a value that you are adding. So a lot of times your calling has to do with people. That's why it's a calling. Okay, so that spectrum between joy and pain that resonates with you. When you see it, you feel happy, or when you see it, you feel pained, and you're feeling like, oh, I wish I could do something about it. Somewhere in that space, you'll be able to find your calling. It's a very personal thing. I'll give you a simple example. When you see street children, for example, or you see young girls used for prostitution, and you feel a pain, somewhere there, maybe God is calling you to set up an NGO to get them off the streets and give their lives value. Just maybe, So that's just a simple example. Or when you are in a place and you see a lot of good that happens, you're so elated. You could even cry from seeing so much good somewhere along that space. Maybe, for example, a very difficult operation is performed by some doctors. You don't even know the person, and you are so excited that it was successful. Oh, this is such a beautiful fit. Maybe God is calling you in that direction. So it's a very personal yet broad space to play in. But by the end of the day, nothing else satisfies than finding your calling, your place in God, what you were created for. It's not always often about the money, but one thing is certain: when you are right in the middle of God's will and doing what God wants you to do, even though it may not bring money initially, somehow God pulls resources to you to help you make an impact on a larger scale. That's your calling. Many times you don't have to do anything so wrong to make money to make it happen. If it's wrong, then it's not it. Or maybe you are applying the wrong principles. But many times these things will be for the larger good. More people will be better for what you do, for you to call it a calling. More people will be happier. You bring joy to more people positively for it to be a calling. So as a youth today, what do I have to do to find my calling? I'll first underscore that many times our calling may not be directly related with what we're studying in school. Like my pastor said, we go to school to learn to read and write. That does not exactly mean that's what we're called to do. Like you read biology in school or you read chemistry in school doesn't mean that's your calling. You just went to read and write and to expose yourself to knowledge. Of course, most of the principles you learn there are actually formulated by man. Okay, but we're talking about God leading you from inside to fulfill the reason why you were born. And this calling will definitely make a way for you. It will make a way for you and it will bring joy to many. So that's one of the key, the notable, results of a calling. It brings joy to many. It leads to the general good of more people. It may cost you pain sometimes. It may be sacrificial for you. Maybe like Jesus coming to die for us obviously was sacrificial for him, but that was his calling, to die for humanity. Of course, the Bible says, so far off them that will prolong his days, and he was obedient unto death. Even death on the cross, it was described as the death of a criminal, but that was his calling. So the calling is not always something that may bring you joy or that may be convenient. Yes, it brings you joy for doing it because he was happy dying for us. We bring you joy for doing it, but not necessarily convenient or without making some sacrifices. So in today's world, you need to look over all the fleeting and shallow trends that social media is bringing, and even really the society. There are hardly any values. We don't teach values in the schools, unfortunately. And then in the homes too, it depends on how you're growing up. There are parents who hail their children for doing a scam or something, and they think it's okay. There's no value in that. So the older ones, unfortunately, are not actually passing down values or virtues to their children. So as a child of God, you have to stay within the scriptures. Anything that you do that gives God's praise and brings blessings to men, and somehow, even though you make sacrifices, brings you joy, it's your calling. I hope that resonates with you. Okay, my name is Monica Zuni, your relationship intelligence coach. Remember, this is relationship intelligence, not relationship management. Those are fallouts of relationship intelligence. There are basics of relationship intelligence, a more holistic thing of managing relationship with God, with you, with people and situation and circumstances. We'll get into those details very soon. But remember, God bless you and I love you. Mwah.